Ah, boy, he's had a lot of success. I believe Grand Prix Portland champion. I believe Grand Prix Albuquerque runner-up. Lost to Owen Turtenwald. Also had a great finish at the Modern Pro Tour a little while ago, playing Malirapod. They got a Force of Will, removing Force of Will on a Mother of Runes. If you're Pardee, you're probably pretty happy about that.
Yeah, and it's funny. I think this is actually one of the matchups that Death and Taxes was really happy with.
I think so.
It was probably built to beat Show and Tell, but it's actually, I feel like it's pretty good against Shardless Bug as well, just because you have a lot of really problematic creatures. Mirror and Crusader probably being the biggest one.
Patrick Sullivan, I like to say it's our favorite deck to make fun of, but we actually do respect it quite a bit. This deck, honestly, it looks horrible on paper, but it's a deck that does a lot of winning, truth be told. We saw Dave Shields win with this when we were in Providence, beat Ross Merriam to stop him from going back-to-back. Josh Smith winning at our Legacy Open at the Season 2 Invitational in Columbus. Pierre Nystrom winning a Legacy Open with it a little bit earlier this year as well. A lot of players have won tournaments with Death and Taxes on the Open Series, and you see a great player here like Pardee playing this strategy.
Well, it seems crazy to think just because, you're playing a deck that basically has a bunch of white weenie creatures in it. How good could it be in a format as powerful as Legacy? But the truth is, you're playing a lot of cards that have been banned in other formats,
Yeah.
Stoneforge Mystic, Aether Vial. You still have 4 copies of Wasteland. Rashad Imports can be a really annoying card as well to contend with. So it just plays a lot of really annoying cards. And when you put them all in combination, it really creates this really obnoxious machine that a lot of decks have a tough time to deal with.
This is obviously one of the best cards in the deck in Thalia that has come into play here, making life a little bit difficult here for Kurth, making all of his spells cost a little bit more. So Deathrite Shaman is where Lloyd was able to begin.
Yeah, and Lloyd had a great start with the Deathrite Shaman, and he could have actually turned to Shardless Agent, tried to hit something good. Unfortunately, with the Thalia now, if he hits a non-creature spell, he won't be able to cast it.
The hallmark of Legacy is that your spells are really cheap, so you're able to operate on very little land. Looks like Kurth is going to spin the wheel, hope for the best. Yeah, there's Abrupt Game. Nope.
Nope.
I think so.
So there's my 2/2. And I feel like if you're Lloyd, I kind of get what he's doing there, because if you hit a Goyf, that's great. If you hit a Deathrite Shaman, it's fine too. But with Sam having a Wasteland, you're probably not going to get too many more opportunities to get to 3 mana. So
Wasteland and a Port maybe.
Yeah,
if
and
he
a
has
Port.
to have to follow
So
up.
you take your chances. It's not the worst play there.
Stoneforge maybe here for Pardee. He's got a Swords of Plowshares in his hand as well. You could see a play where he goes, it would just have to be Swords because it does cost 1 more. So, of course, Thalia is symmetrical. He could go after Deathrite Shaman. He could Wasteland, but he's just going to cast a Stoneforge Mystic. Yes. He's going to go searching for equipment. We'll see which one it's going to be because he does have Sword of Fire and Ice in his hand already.
Yeah, I like going for Jitte here just because if Lloyd does have a way to kill the Stoneforge Mystic, then you're not going to be able to cast a Barrier Skull anytime soon. However, I think Lloyd does have a Thought Seize, so he can deal with the Umezawa Jitte if he wants to. However, Pardee did miss his 3rd land drop, so with Thalia in play, he won't be able to cast it unless he draws a land.
Kurth does play a Verdant Catacombs. You see his hand here of Liliana, which he can cast, but we'll see what Pardee would sacrifice if he does. There's also a Thought Seize and a Jace the Mind Sculptor. Can't cast Jace just yet, though. Again, the taxing effect of Thalia being a little bit troublesome right now.
If he runs Liliana out there, then it's just going to die to the Thalia. So he's going to lead with the Thoughtseize here. Let's see what he wants to take. Again, Jitte is a good card. Swords to Plowshares also can be a problematic card as well. If you deal with that Deathrite Shaman again, Deathrite Shaman's going to go away. If he draws a land, he can Wasteland something as well. So suddenly you can be set back on 2 mana, and still that Thalia would be in play. So let's see what he decides to get here. Obviously, Jitte, it can be very problematic, but in this, given Sam has a Thalia in play and only 2 mana, maybe you want to just take the Swords to Plowshare, but
yeah, it's tough. I mean, he can put the Jitte to play via the Stoneforge Mystic. I mean, that's definitely an option. Same thing can be said for the Sword. There's also a backup Stoneforge. There's the Revoker, and then there is the Swords to Plowshares. So don't want to get those sword effects confused. But the choice here for Kurth, I mean, it doesn't feel like there's any great choice. That's, I think, the big thing.
Yeah, I think if Lloyd might be thinking, if I can just get the 5 mana, I can get Jace into play. Maybe if I can get Jace or Leon into play, I can sort of navigate this board. So maybe I want Sam to waste a turn getting a Jitte into play.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't care that much about it.
I'm going to go with Sword of Fire and Ice. That apparently is the one that he's the most scared of. It's a difficult Thoughtseize. I'm not sure there's a great take there. There's a lot of really high leverage cards that he is probably interested in taking. He also has to hope that Pardee doesn't draw lands.
Yeah, if Pardee draws a land, I think he's going to seriously consider swordsing that Deathrite Shaman and then using the Wasteland.
Yeah, he did not draw a land, so he's just going to come across here for 2. Of course, Stoneforge Mystic cannot come across in the face of that Deathrite Shaman. Revoker is something he can cast.
Oh, now he can, yep. Lloyd's going to have to sack Verdant Catacombs in response.
Very quickly doing that. He's sacking so that he can use his Deathrite Shaman. Of course, Revoker cannot name lands. It names only non-land permanents. Of course, Pithing Needle is the one that can name lands. However, Lloyd wants to make sure he gets his value off his Deathrite Shaman because that thing is basically gone unless Pardee decides to name something else. But yeah, he's going to go with Deathrite Shaman.
Yeah, the right name there. He gets a creature into play, and he also shuts down Lloyd's mana.
Basically a land destruction spell.
Yeah.
And there you do see the M15 version of Reflection Revoker because that bad boy is back.
So M15 is having an impact on Legacy.
Here's an expensive Brainstorm for Kurth. A Force of Will, a Baleful Strix, and a Mystery card. I think it's a Polluted Delta. Kurth's going to look to put some cards back here. Force of Will doesn't seem all that appealing at this point. Looks like he's going to set that back as well.
So, yeah, he got a land off this, so he can cast the Baleful Strix that he drew.
Baleful Strix is fine in the situation, not great.
It's not great. Obviously, it can't deal with the first strike. It dies to the Thalia, but if you can just get rid of that Thalia, it can kill any equipped creature, draws you a card.
I was wondering when Lloyd was going to put the brakes on. It is 18-10.
Yeah, and that's true.
He's been pretty aggressive with that Charlotte Station. I'm not saying Charlotte Station beats Thalia in combat because obviously it doesn't, but it might be time to pump the brakes a touch.
Well, if you're going to cast it on turn 2 and get no value out of it, you got to at least beat. You got to beat down.
Yeah, okay, all right. There's an Underground. Wants to make sure that's the land he wants to get. That'll allow him to cast the Baleful Strix. He's taking some damage here for Force of Will and thoughts he's in some fetch lands along with some beat down, some value. So his life total has been dwindling away, pretty quickly. And here's the Baleful Strix. Mystery card coming off the top of his deck.
And Pardee's been doing pretty good off of only 2 lands.
Yeah, that's the thing about this deck. This deck will surprise you. There's a really bad draw.
A really bad draw.
But this deck will actually surprise you. Like, it doesn't really seem like Sam is doing all that much. But, I mean, that Thalia has been a giant, pain in the butt. There's a port. So now you can go after his mana even some more. Revokers here. It doesn't really get to attack, but it's shutting down Deathrite Shaman. It's a weird deck. It really is. Now he's going to go Wastelanding, cut the mana a little bit more. Has the ability to activate Stoneforge Mystics with that G-T into play or cast Swords to Plowshares. Just going to pass the turn back at a high life total. There's a draw for the turn. A relatively useless Deathrite Shaman because of the Revoker. Every time I watch Death and Taxes, by the end of it, I'm always just like, I guess they won.
Yeah, I guess they win. They're good. I mean,
it's never like, when you watch like Storm win, it's just like, oh, okay, they're dead.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah, it's just like,
that makes sense.
Yeah, they're just like, how did he win with this group of dummies?
Yeah,
but they always do.
It's not 2-1s. Yeah, 2-1s in play here.
Yeah. I guess equipment is pretty good. One of the best equipment of all time. Maybe he is the best equipment of all time, and it was G-T.
Yeah, that and Batterskull probably close 1 and 2. So let's see here. We're gonna get I'm sorry, Skull Clamp.
Oh right, yeah.
I forgot.
Never mind. I forgot that. I never get to see it. I forgot that was a thing. Maybe that's better.
G-T was definitely better than Skull Clamp in Legacy and Limited. In Constructed, probably Skull Clamp.
Yeah, probably Skull Clamp. You have to build your deck around it though. That sucks.
Oh, that stinks. Yeah.
Here we come with the first striker with the G-T. That's called a combo. See how Lloyd wants to block here. Nothing is going to be favorable for him.
He might have to just gang block here. Or no, then he just uses the pump instead of the minus.
Yeah. Because first strike damage, of course, will resolve. He'll get the counters first. He'll take care of something, and then he'll probably be able to save his own creature. Or he can just choose not to. And just say, okay, I've got a GT with counters on it. I'll just move forward from there. I'm not convinced there's a great block here for Kurth.
Yeah, so if he gang blocks, then first strike, you have to kill the Strix. That dies first. You get 2 counters on your Jeté, and then if you just pump the toughness of your Thalia, that goes up to 5, and you're only getting dealt 4 damage. So, not really a great block here. Although you would make him lose both the tokens, and you just lose a Baleful Strix, I believe.
That might not be the worst exchange. 2 counters on the GTA, however. No blocks there from Kurth. Pardee just going to pass the turn back with 1 mana available.
Don't forget to tick down that ancestral visions.
Yeah, that visions that's never going to go off. Yeah, take it down. I would be surprised if it goes off.
All right, well, Lloyd got a little lucky here. Be fortunate that Sam didn't decide to just kill the Deathrite Shaman, so now he has access to 5 mana. Oh, that's right. Phyrexian Invoker named Deathrite Shaman, that's right. So Lloyd, pretty much not much he can do here. Active Jete looks like he's going to just take over this game.
Yeah, he would love to be able to activate those Deathrite Shamans to be able to cast that Jace that he's just drawn, because Jace is one of the few cards that can get him out of this situation. But now we're just going to beat down with Jete yet again on Athalia. And there were no good blocks last turn, so there's certainly no good blocks this turn, as nothing has changed. So Deathrite Shaman's going to get in the way.
Yeah, might as well. It's not doing anything else.
Up to 4 counters. We saw Pardee play a copy of Karakas. That can help to protect his Thalia if need be.
Ooh, he's got a Mirren Crusader too, it looks like. Yeah.
Well, that is probably game then.
Don't know if he wants to cast it. I think activating Port might just be better, but it is tempting against the black-green deck.
Yeah, he wants to get it out there, and he's going to.
That will make short order once you equip it.
Yeah. Down to 2. Goes the Visions. Kurth's going to draw a card. That's a Toxic Deluge, I believe.
Is it?
Yeah, there's one in his main deck. I mean, he can't cast it. Thalia too good.
Thalia has just been too good this game. Thalia and Phyrexian Invoker turning off those Deathrite Shamans.
Thalia's just too good.
So I wonder if it all comes down to Lloyd just casting that Charlotte's Agent a little too early. If he waits 1 turn, because Sam didn't draw a land, Sam probably doesn't activate that Wasteland, so he's able to cast Charlotte's Agent with a mana up. Then once he hits the Abrupt Decay, which he would have, he could have just paid the mana. He would have actually drawn the Abrupt Decay.
That would be helpful.
Yeah, so it all comes down to that turn 2 Charlotte's Agent, I think, for Lloyd, because Sam really didn't have that much going on for a long time. It was really basically just Thalia beats. Lloyd's hand was really good, though. He's got a couple of Planeswalkers just stranded in his hand.
Yeah, he could just never get them in play.
Yeah.
And so Lloyd just keeps drawing cards that he can't cast and has to pass the turn back. And we're going to move that Jete over, I presume.
Yep, a nice pro-black, pro-green creature.
Ever heard of it? Yeah. Lloyd says, all right, you win. I'm done. Sam Pardee going to win game number 1 here with Death and Taxes over Lloyd Kurth playing Shardless Bug. Off of the help of Thalia, Guardian of Thraben, as we do take a look at our sideboards here. Take a look at Kurth. He's going to go to the drawing board. I'll do the same. 2 Nile Spellbound, along with a Newel Rod. 2 Hymnotorak, a Toxic Deluge to go along with the first one in his main deck. There's an additional Force of Will to go along with the 3 in the main deck. Another copy of Liliana, 2 Disfigure, a Thoughtseize, 2 copies of Golgari Charm, and 2 copies of Flusterstorm. Gotta love Disfigure, obviously. Kills the majority of the creatures in this just weak White Weenie deck. It just kills all of them. There is also Deluge, which can be a Wrath effect so long as he can cast it and has the life to do so. Force Will I don't actually love in this matchup. Do like Liliana in situations. Golgari Charm is -1/-1 is actually really good at killing Mother of Runes, which can be pretty important because we saw Kurth respect Mother of Runes on turn 1 of this game. Force Will moving a Force of Will. So definitely some options available here for Lloyd, and we'll see how he wants to shake things up here for the second and hopefully for him the 3rd game.
Yeah, he's definitely better positioned after board.
Yeah.
Pardee, on the other hand, doesn't have that many cards that he can bring in. He's got 2 copies of Rest in Peace. Rest in Peace, actually, pretty good against Shardless Bug just because it can turn off Deathrite Shaman. It can turn off Tarmogoyf. So those are good cards. Beyond that, though, he's got 1 copy of Whitleaf Liege. It could randomly be good against Liliana the Veil if they uptick it. So I like bringing that card in, too. Beyond that, though, not really much else. He's got 2 copies of Cataclysm. Really, that card's great against a deck like lands.
I love it. I love it. I just like Cataclysm is one of my favorite cards. I don't even know if it's good in the matchup, but I love it.
Yeah, it's it's not bad if you get an equipment on one of your creatures, but it's going to be interesting to see whether or not he decides to bring that in. But definitely like the Rest in Peace and the Whitleaf Liege.
You see Pardee and Kurth here are sitting at 4-0. Death and Taxes versus Shardless Bug. They're going to finish sideboarding, and as they do, we'll take a look at our players to watch here very quickly, see exactly where everybody does stand. Alex Bertensini sitting at 4-0. We are watching Sam Pardee at 4-0. Dave Shields, Ross Merriam, Brad Nelson. You've got Shields playing Loam Pack Rat, Miriam playing Elves, Nelson playing Esper Deathblade, all sitting at 3-1. Brian Brundon with Miracles 3-1. Same thing can be said for Reed Duke. Again, not too sure what Todd Anderson's playing. Danny Jessup picked up a draw, and Eric Rillo is going to try to grind out those Open Series points. May not help him for this particular season, but our end of year 8 at-large bids, those will probably help him out. So no top 8 here for Eric. And again, he has won 4 Open Series events over the course of his career. But we'll see if he can get another top 32 underneath his belt and keep those Open Series points on the incline. We did see Kurth's sideboard very quickly. I got a quick glimpse of it. He did board out his Force of Wolves, which I'm not too surprised about, honestly. You can't afford a 2-for-1 yourself.
Yeah, especially given the amount of kind of Wrath effects he's bringing in. Golgari Charm can be a one-sided Wrath, and obviously he's bringing in the second copy of Toxic Deluge. So you don't really need to Force a Will. Force a Will is obviously great against combo decks. We saw him force a will a Mother Runes in game 1, but again, with the cards that he's bringing in to answer the Mother Runes, he doesn't really need a Force a Will anymore. You don't want to just 2-for-1 yourself in this kind of matchup. So totally understand why he's.
But you don't think the removing Force a Will on Mother Runes, you can just keep doing that?
Yeah,
I understand why he did it.
Seems.
Yeah. You need to do it because if Mother Runes is resolves, it's a disaster.
Yeah.
But that kind of play, like, 2-for-1 yourself to have to do that when you can just board your Golgari Charm is not good. That's all.
And that's part why the matchup game 1 can be very difficult. But after board, Kurth has a lot of good cards in this matchup.
I actually think Lloyd is probably favored after board. Maybe slightly.
Golgari Charm, 2 copies of Golgari Charm, 2 copies of Deluge after board. So basically, he's got 4 Wrath effects.
2 Disfigures too.
And 2 Disfigures too to kind of slow down Sam. He wants to try to get to the Planeswalker game.
Yeah.
Once he gets to the Planeswalker game, things look really good for him.
Decays can obviously help control some creatures as well as some equipment. Of course, can't handle Batter Skull. But I think that the fact that he has so much spot removal now, and as long as Mother Runes is not in play, and even if it does get in play, he does have outs to it. I think that Lloyd should be better off now.
Oh yeah, he's a lot better.
Does seem like game 1's tough though.
I'd say the match is probably in White Weenie's favor, but after board, Death and Tax's favor. But after board, Bug has a lot of tools to kind of push it back in its advantage. However, overall, having to win 2 games out of 3 when you're down 1 is going to be rough no matter what.
Yeah.
That's when kind of variance can come into play. So we'll see if Lloyd can win two in a row. Lloyd having a pretty good weekend so far. Sitting at 4-0. Also makes top 8 of the Standard Open. We saw him on camera earlier today. So doing pretty good so far.
Yeah, crushing.
It's nice to have one of those weekends where you just kind of
they're the best weekends.
Make top 8, and then you're having a good run in the legacy
They
portion.
are the best weekends.
Ross Merriam knows a little thing or two about that.
I thought Ross was going to win the Standard Open this morning. I really did.
It's hard to bet against him, And he had a good opening hand.
Yeah. Mother Runes, there's the troublemaker, but you see Lloyd does have a Disfigure. It's also one of the things I actually genuinely like about Legacy. Disfigure is just kind of like a whatever removal spell, but it's actually a really good one in Legacy.
Yeah.
It actually solves a lot of problems. So you look at that card, and it's just like, why are people playing this card? It kills Deathrite Shaman, kills Mother Runes before it's active, kills Thalia, it does a lot of things. Wow.
He's got Golgari Charm. That's the reason.
Okay.
And it's funny, I think Jerry Thompson was actually the first person to start playing Disfigure.
I think so.
Because he was such a bug expert. He would be playing bug all the time. And Lloyd's got to love that board. He's got to be salivating.
Yep. I'd be pretty happy.
Oh, yeah, Mother Runes does give your creatures protection from black. Unfortunately, I have this spell called Golgari Charm.
There's Tropical Island. Do you do it now?
I think you do it now.
Do you? You don't try to extract any more value?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, you don't know what he has. You don't know 100% what Death and Taxes could do with mana on tap.
You could get like the Revoker.
It looks like he's gonna pass.
I love it. I think you can try to extract more value out of this. Now, I mean, Pardee's a great player, and he might be able to see right through this, but
I mean, not killing the Thalia also kind of puts the effect on Sam's side as well. But yeah, I guess it's reasonable given that you don't think you're gonna get. But I just don't think Pardee's gonna expose himself much more. But again, you basically prevent him from casting a spell this turn.
You saw him reach for the Revoker too, right? He put it to the front of his hand.
Yeah.
And then he slowed down a little bit. Now, the reason he slowed down is because he wants to just go, port and wasteland you and all that good stuff. That's what he's going to do. So he's going to take care of the underground, so now he's going to port on the upkeep.
And I think Lloyd is fine with this because he does have a Tarmogoyf and another land here. So
Left Force of Will in. Looks like he has at least one copy in this deck after sideboard. There's a Polluted Delta, and there is Tarmogoyf, which you did mention. So this is a pretty good exchange here for Lloyd. Now, I mean, Sam's got some work to do here to catch back up, but Lloyd's got to be pretty happy with this. See, Pardee draws. Well, rest in peace is a delight.
All right, so that takes care of Tarmogoyf.
Yeah.
He also has the swords in his hand, along with the Stoneforge Mystic. So let's see what he decides to lead here with. I think because he has Rest in Peace and Swords to Plowshare, I think it's probably okay to lead with Stoneforge here.
You think so?
Yeah, I mean,
He's a
just get
20.
that out there. Yeah, you might be afraid of, okay, well, what if he has a Thoughtseize or something to get rid of my removal spell? But you have two ways to kind of deal with Tarmogoyf, so.
Time to go searching.
Did he bring in the Batterskull?
Yeah, we'll see if it's a Batterskull, if it's a sword, is it a GT. GT was instrumental in the win last game. He's going to get GT again. I'm a very big fan of searching for equipment that you can cast a lot.
Yeah.
It feels like a lot of the time people's natural reaction is theirs to just figure to take care of the Stoneforge Mystic, and now a Wasteland to take care of the core. That's a pretty good turn.
Yeah, seeing Pardee didn't play a land last turn made Lloyd's decision pretty easy here.
Yeah.
He attacks with the Tarmogoyf, and now Lloyd is probably going to play a Baleful Strike, draw a card, and he still has Force of Will with a blue card to pitch to it as well.
Yeah, that turn was awesome. That turn was awesome. Jeez. I don't even know if Sam can come back from that.
Well, Sam drew a Wasteland. He could just play, I mean, if he plays Rest in Peace, Lloyd, let's see if Lloyd decides to even, oh, so he's going to lead with Stoneforge again here.
I'm a little surprised by that. There's Force moving Jace. All right. Yeah, countering that?
I don't really like countering that, especially because you have, I think you have,
That's card
you have Charlotte's Agent, right? So, yeah, and plus you had yeah, so if you hit a spell, it's probably fine, and if you hit a land, you have a Jace, so.
Well, yeah, Tarmogoyf, life's good. But there's still that Rest in Peace, like you did mention, so.
Yeah, and he doesn't have a counterspell anymore, so. And I believe his last card is just a land.
Uh-huh. So they can attack here for 4. Party's going to go down to 13. But now actually the green light is on to cast this Rest in Peace. If you're Party, you just want to draw lands, I think.
Yeah, you just want lands.
Yeah, you just drew planes.
And so he's in good shape right here. Lloyd is basically out of gas, and Rest in Peace will do a nice job of just taking out those two Tarmogoyfs. And Lloyd will basically just have 3 power in play. But any of those creatures can be trumped by anything that Sam has.
Sam opting to use the 2 planes to cast Rest in Peace leads me to believe that his intentions are to Wasteland here.
Yeah, either this was a mistake or he wants the Wasteland. I can see, yeah, you might as well just Wasteland here. Keep him off of Liliana mana.
Wants to choke him a little bit. Doesn't know the Kurth's last card is a land. Draws a copy of Abrupt Decay. That's actually pretty good. Now the Rest in Peace can be destroyed, so yeah, he's going to get that off the table.
So,
yeah,
it's fine though. Tarmogoyf's still much smaller than they were, but obviously
2-3 right away
huge draw
now.
there for Lloyd.
Yeah, Abrupt Decay goes to the graveyard due to state-based effects. Rest in Peace will get exiled. So once he sacrifices the land as well, now Tarmogoyfs are back online. System attack for 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. Party's on a 2-turn clock now. He goes down to 6. So a very, very timely draw of Abrupt Decay there by Lloyd Kurth. Gets him right back into this game. Not to say he was out of it, but he may have been in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, he did draw swords, so he can deal with both the Tarmogoyfs, and he'll only fall to 3. However, yeah, he doesn't really have a lot of mana to work with here, so not quite sure if he's going to be able to, if that's going to be enough to get him back into it. Yeah, he's going to need some help here fast.
Pardee can't do anything, so he's just going to pass the turn back. Kurth's going to quickly untap all those creatures in those 2 lands, draws a card, didn't get a good look at it. Only he knows what it is, but
wow,
it's clearly good. He's going to play Baleful Strix here.
Another creature, so he's going to draw a card, now he's going to attack all of his creatures. Both Tarmogoyfs are going to get killed or removed from the game, and Sam goes down to 6 here.
Sam's going to go down to 3 from the attack.
3, yeah.
Kurth's going to gain some life, of course. From the Tarmogoyfs, there's a 10th
Wow.
Red Shaman. Yeah, I don't think
Great
Sam can come
2
back.
cards on top of your library.
And so Sam is going to concede the game, and Lloyd Kurth's going to win game number 2. We're even up here between Charlotte's Buck and Death and Taxes.
Yeah, if Lloyd didn't play that Baleful Strike, there's a chance that maybe Sam just goes after the non-Tarmogoyf creatures, hoping that if he rips the second Rest in Peace, then that can shut down both Tarmogoyfs. That's another out for him.
Okay.
He would fall to 2, obviously, he would take more damage, but he's only taking 1 more damage, so. But obviously, Lloyd got a great draw there from Baleful Strix, drawing into Death, right? So Sam really didn't have any other outs there.
That closed the door pretty quickly on that one. That's why we're even up now. So we'll be going into game number 3 here pretty quickly. Kurth is very happy with this setup. He's already shuffling again. Pardee taking a look, see if he wants to change anything. One of these players will be moving on to 5-0 here shortly, as we are in round 5 of our Legacy Open here from Baltimore. Standard Open champion Danny Jessup sitting right now at 2-1-1. He won earlier with Mono Black Devotion. Kind of the boogeyman of the format. I think everyone was hoping for something different, but hey, that deck might just be too good.
Yeah, and Lloyd was playing a black-white mid-range deck.
Yeah.
Pretty much the same cards. I know we call it black-white mid-range, but both decks are playing 4 copies of Pack Rat, 4 copies of Gray Merchant, 4 copies of Desecration Demon, and 4 copies of Thoughtseize. And then Underworld Connections, some combination of those cards. So very similar decks. I mean, it just goes to show you that Thoughtseize, Underworld Connection, Pack Rat, those cards are going to be staples of the format for a very long time, until they rotate out.
My big question, I think it's going to be really interesting, is what happens once, the Pro Tour rolls around. Players are obviously testing and checking out these results. I wonder what the teams are going to get their hands on to play. Can you imagine just having to test the Black Mirrors? Ugh.
Yeah. Ugh. I can't imagine wanting to do that at all.
I mean, you got to get ready. It's Pro Tour, man.
You got to do it. Yeah, you got to know the mirror.
Now, here's a question. You played in a lot of Pro Tours, obviously. What was the least fun Pro Tour for you to test for? Or just no hope? You just ended up playing, just having to play a deck. Maybe you didn't even want to play.
The least fun Pro Tour I had to test for, probably Champions of Kamigawa Block Pro Tour Philadelphia.
Gifts?
It was the first it was Gifts Pro Tour. It was the one where it was the Skins Pro Tour. So you couldn't even win as much money as other Pro Tours. Like, I think first prize was 25,000. Gadio Slifer ended up winning that. But it was one of those Pro Tours where it was like the first time they tried it, and they haven't done it since, where every round you win money. Yeah. And the payout kind of increased. So that Pro Tour was a nightmare to test for, because the best card by far was Sensei's Divining Top.
Yep.
So you can imagine how many times we had to test. It didn't matter what deck you were playing. Like, there was a white weenie deck. That was the only deck that basically didn't play Sensei's Divining Top.
That's the only one.
But it wasn't even that good. So we had multiple Sensei's Divining Top decks, and every round it was like land, top. All right, I'll top my upkeep. Top. It took forever to test. It was a nightmare.
Kurth's gonna take a mulligan. I do know they added time on the round stretch, but I think it was 60-minute rounds in that tournament.
Yeah, it was 60-minute rounds, and then they banned top from that format afterwards. So I'm like, oh, thanks, Watsy. You make us play with top just for one Pro Tour, and then you ban it afterwards, where you see how unfun it is. I
also the one for me was the Pro Tour Honolulu that was won by Brian Kibler.
Yes.
Oh wait, no. This is the one that was won by
Mark Herbolds?
No, the other one. It was the Cascade Pro Tour.
Oh, that was Kibler. Kibler won there. Oh,
no, Brian won Pro Tour Dark Ascension with Ram.
That's right.
Kibler made top 8 of this Pro Tour. I can't remember the Japanese player's name. I actually feel pretty bad.
That's right. Yeah. But Paul Reitzel made top 8 of that Pro Tour.
Yeah.
I remember
Tom Ross did too.
It was the Jun Pro Tour.
Yeah. But yeah, that was the Cascade. That was the Cascade Pro Tour.
I played a lot of Jun mirrors. I remember a lot of Blightnings on Blightnings.
Yeah. That was the Cascade.
A lot of sprouting Thrinaxes running around. That wasn't fun either.
That was the Enlisted Ultimatum Pro Tour. That's when Enlisted Worm cascaded and you just went down the chain. That happened to me during the tournament. I didn't want to play anymore.
Yeah, that was the first Pro Tour I've ever taken constructed advice from Ben Stark.
Yeah.
And
someone wrote an article about that recently.
And it did not work out for me.
He said to cut your pulse. He said to cut the pulses.
He said he cut Maelstrom pulses for Fleshbag Marauder. Round 1, I cast Bituminous Blast targeting creature. I cascade into Fleshbag Marauder. My opponent sacrifices the creature that I targeted with Bituminous Blast, and I immediately cursed Ben Stark's name.
Here's a Thoughtseize. It's going to take a Mirran Crusader. Pardee. Well, that's the only card that Lloyd can take. Kept a hand of double port, 3 planes, and a Horizon Canopy.
If only that Whitley Liege was there instead of that Mirran Crusader.
That's the SCG moment right there.
That is an SCG moment.
Yeah. There's a port, gonna tap that down. He's gonna take the mana denial route now. However, that plan just got blown up.
That's why Deathrite is so frustrating, because so many decks are built around that.
Well, Mr. Pardee with a top deck Mirran Crusader, hoping that Kurth does not have a Liliana of the Veil. Let's see if that happens. Here's a Brainstorm to start things up.
Oh wow, it looks like Lloyd boarded into Null Rod as well.
Yeah, Colt Equipment.
Oh.
Toxic Deluge is good.
That's a good answer.
I forgot he had more outs to Mirran Crusader besides like Liliana.
Yeah, Liliana.
It being the only creature on the board.
Liliana, Toxic Deluge, basically the 2 answers.
I guess he could get a little crafty and draw both his Golgari Charms if it comes to it.
So Lloyd has to be a little wary of Sam top decking a jeté. Jeté equip could be pretty huge, but he does have that deluge now, so. Is he just going to cast it?
Might as well. Get that thing off the table. You know your opponent's hand.
Yep. So,
Now, Lloyd also knows, too, that, the next turn he's going to get double ported.
yeah.
So, that is a thing, but, I mean, well, at least we assume that that's a thing that's going to happen. Yeah. And there is this. Now, Pardee's going to go porting. Tap down that and this.
And Pardee
Yep.
might have drawn an Aether Vial, so that's not a bad draw. At least allows him to continue to port stuff while trying to get a threat into play. But here's another Deathrite Shaman, so that Mana Denial plan is going to be tough.
Pardee draws a card, Sarah Avenger.
So let's see what Pardee decides to do.
He might have to change gears now.
He doesn't really have an option. I mean, yeah, it's basically, do I just cast Sarah Avenger and Aether Vial here and then tap one land, I mean, at this point, Lloyd can probably get access to 4 mana, and if he does, then, what's the difference? I'm not really, he doesn't really have anything in his deck that costs more than 4 anyway.
He's going to stick with Mana Denial. Maybe the thought process here for Sam is, I need to keep you off of a card like Jace.
Yeah.
Me casting that, or at least try my best to.
And Lloyd only has 2 cards left, so.
It's pretty good. 2 cards,
pretty
though.
good, yep.
It might as well be 4 cards, honestly.
Yeah, because even if he hits an Abrupt Decay, he can take out an Aether Vial, so. Not sure if he kept the Ancestral Visions in this matchup.
Me either.
Golgari Charm would be a good hit for Sam.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to worry about that, at least.
So Kurth is going to activate Deathrite Shaman, draw a card here. There's a little route that he knew was coming. Yep.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, he knew that was coming, so. Took the vial up, that doesn't matter, and he drew another copy of vial. Yuck.
Wow. All right, so at least he can cast the Sarah Avenger now, I believe.
Yep.
And still double activate for Shot and Port if he wants to.
Here comes, I think it's going to be the 3/3 flyer. It will. And Pardee is going to have to take 1 to double tap because there's a Rising Canopy out there. But seems to be worth it.
Yeah, Sam may be thinking about just cycling to draw a card there.
Yeah, next turn,
Needs some gas, but.
Here's a Brainstorm. So hit 1, Bayou, hit 2, Tarmogoyf, and 3.
Wow.
So now Kurth can set it up the way that he wants to.
So he has the third mana he needs, and he can hit an Ancestral Vision. So, and it looks like he's gonna cycle past the second Shardless Agent if he sets it up this way.
And don't forget, Kurth hasn't played a land yet this turn now. It's pretty important for him to set this up appropriately, and maximize this.
Yeah, I don't think I want to give away a Shardless Agent.
I feel like I don't want to either.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
Like, you can put Visions on top, Tarmogoyf on bottom, and then you'll have both Shardless Agents. You play your land, you cast Shardless Agents. Wow, you're just going to pass back. Huh. That's surprising. In we go. I did not see that coming.
Because I don't believe he played a land that turn.
No, he didn't.
If I'm correct. But, all right, so Stoneforge Message is going to get cast here, but again, with the Null Rod in play, not going to be that effective unless he did bring in the Batterskull. At least Batterskull will become a 4/4.
Yep.
So yes, he did bring it in.
It's not oftentimes you see Batterskull in the sideboard of this deck. You oftentimes see it in the main deck.
Yeah.
I'm actually really surprised that Pardee does have that in his board.
It looks like he decided to go with the Umezawa Jitte sort of Fire and Ice split. Maybe that's sort of a concession to True Name Nemesis. Obviously, that card can be problematic.
Truthfully, I've felt that more people should be playing Sword of Fire and Ice in their main deck to beat True Name.
Yeah.
Like, just to beat that card by itself because it's so good.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right, there's a Shardless Agent. Let's Cascade. He knows what it is. Let's get 3 cards. 1, 2, and 3. Not sure if one of those is a removal spell. I think the only thing that Lloyd needs now is just an Abrupt Decay to kill the Avenger, and he's probably okay. But it doesn't look like he's drawn one yet. So now he's just going to pass the turn back. Pardee's going to untap all those lands. He got 7 of them out there. He's going to tick the vial up. Maybe, maybe not. He's not going to. Of course, can't activate it because there is a Null Rod in play.
So, looks like he drew a Rest in Peace. So that should turn off Deathrite Shaman, and I believe there's a Tarmogoyf in Lloyd's hand as well. So, not a bad draw. Sarah Avenger still chipping away at his life total. We know Lloyd does have another copy of Shardless Agent, so he's going to be able to dig a little deeper for some action here.
There's rest in peace. Let's go clear all that stuff up.
Is Batterskull going to make an appearance, or no? Looks like he wants to continue to tap.
Yep. He's been on this plan for a little while. Like, he hasn't wavered from this.
Yeah. Well, again, now it's a lot better because Deathrite Shaman's turned off effectively. So Lloyd suddenly went from 6 mana to only 3, so not that bad. No. Lloyd now falling to 8, and he still doesn't have an answer to Serra Avenger, I believe. Deathrite Shaman no longer able to gain him life currently as it is. So things are looking bad for Sam, but they're not looking nearly as bad, despite Lloyd drawing a number of cards off of Ancestral Vision. Let's see if he hits something good here. If it's Tarmogoyf, that'd be great for Sam.
Nope, can't cast that one. There's
wow, great for Sam there.
You saw him pause at the deluge.
Yeah.
He thought, this would be good, but I can't do that. Yeah.
Get a bit. Wow, so it looks like Lloyd just has lands and a Tarmogoyf in his hand. Nothing really helping him get out of this current situation.
Pardee draws a copy of Mother of Runes.
That's a good draw. If he can survive one more turn, then he protects the Serra Avenger from Abrupt Decay.
In for 3 more. Kurth's going to go down to 5.
Is he going to draw a card with Horizon Canopy right now? Or is he going to wait?
Be surprised if he wavers any.
I think he has enough.
Kurth does have a lot of lands in play, but
yeah,
Pardee's still just going after him.
Well, if he's going to cast Mother of Runes this turn for sure, and he's going to double tap. So if he just draws a card in his main phase, it doesn't really get him anything because he can't cast it.
Crack it in a turn.
Might as well crack it in the turn. That way, if Lloyd has like a discard spell, you're not going to lose it.
The draw was a Delta. That's not an Abrupt Decay, and he needed to have it on this turn. He's going to put his Creeping Tar Pit into play.
Wow, so Sam, this Serra Avenger might go the distance for Sam here. Mother of Runes will get turned on. So all he needs is 2 more hits. Baleful Strix, that won't do it either because he can give it Pro Black.
Yeah, it's true. You saw GTA was the draw, but that doesn't matter, of course, because Milrod's in play. Neither does the Aether Vial that was drawn. Sam's draws have not been great during this stretch, but Serra Avenger is not dead. So going to tap that. Going to port the Tar Pit. Kurth's going to draw a card. It's a copy of Tarmogoyf. That's an 0-1. It's a really, really expensive 0-1. So I would cast it. I would cast that too, since that card's, $700. You can see the game.
Yeah.
Wow.
Nothing like casting $1,500 worth of spell and conceding.
Sam Pardee with the $4 Serra Avenger. Take it down, my friend. Defeating Lloyd Kurth. And I swear, every time I watch this deck, it's just like, well, that Serra Avenger is just somehow not going to die. I don't understand how. Kurth has a Shardless Agent, cascades into Visions, casts another Shardless Agent, misses again, and it's like, go ahead, Serra Avenger. Keep flying away, and that's what it does. Sam Pardee moves on to 5-0 with Death and Taxes.